So I just spent 3 hours mapping out what a client thought was gonna be like $100,000 worth of an AI system. Turns out it's like 95% just getting their apps to talk to each other. So we're talking traditional software engineering. And look, everyone's getting sold these expensive AI solutions right now when they actually just need their QuickBooks to sync with their Google Drive, as an example. And in this video, I'm showing you exactly what happened with this interior design business. They're currently doing $2.5 million a year. They have a 42:1 LTV to CAC ratio, which is insane, but they're stuck working 60-hour work weeks because nothing talks to each other. So I'll show you the exact architecture we built, why they don't actually need AI to hit their goal of $7.5 million, and how we connected 8 different systems together. And look, I run wildfiregrowth.ai. We build this stuff every day, so I'm dropping all the documentation, technical specs, the diagrams, everything in our free school community, and our link is in the description if you want to follow along. So let me show you why this business is leaving $5 million on the table just because their apps didn't talk to each other. All right, so I want to give you a walkthrough of what this system would look like. So before this dashboard, the solution for kind of dealing with clients in general was sending emails manually and updating Google Docs and being able to just tell the client what's going on, but sort of like in a manual way, where it's just like if there was any pending approvals, if there was any updates with the build of the home, the renovation, or whatever the case is for this client, it was all manual. So, but instead of doing that, now they would just be able to look at the dashboard with their login and be able to see literally everything that's going on with their project. Because they spend a lot of money, this is probably the best way to show them where their money is going and how far along they are in the project. So just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So it tells you like the project progress, the tasks in progress, the pending approvals, right? Key milestones. This is a demo, by the way, so bear with me on this. Also, we can see the project board. Now, we have Asana integration, but we're also playing around with the idea of just building a Kanban board just directly onto the dashboard. So that way, like, there's no mismatching any kind of information from Asana and what's shown here. Of course, you can move this around too. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so you can see the project timeline. So this would be like essentially where would be the Gantt chart, right? So you can see like the progress from the project standpoint here as well. So we have the Kanban, and then the project timeline underneath this would be like a full-on Gantt chart. Over here, one of the other requirements was the client needs to be able to see the photos of the home and the furniture and everything else. And here we have a system where you can update that Google Drive by uploading the pictures here. So you're not actually having to go to Google Drive to see the photos. They appear here, you can update it here, and it also updates Google Drive. This is something that we also have in progress. But as you can see, like, it's pretty clean. All the questions that they would typically ask the project manager could be found here. So it's all in one central location. And I think that this is probably the bread and butter here of the main pain points of the clients that I'm working with right now, where the document review and being able to sign the document in a super easy way. So in this view right here, we have all the documents that we have to approve. So we have all documents in general, then we have what's pending, what has been signed, and then what's under review, right? And what we're baking into this system here is that just say if somebody needs to view this proposal, they can sign, and then they can review the document here, and then they'll be able to sign the document just straight up without having to go to another view. So this is part of like the sauce that's just like, oh wow, this is super simple and easy. Now, mind you, they are using currently Adobe Acrobat in order to do this, but there is an API integration so that you actually can sign a document and not have to leave the application, which I think is a really huge It's a huge deal because it's like so easy to sign documents. And this is where we're at right now. And you can manage different clients over here, and this will be your view, essentially. Oh, you know what? Also, before I let you go over here, let me just show you kind of what goes into this, because there's a whole lot of talk about like AI automations and N8N workflows, but they don't actually talk about how complex some of these builds can actually be. And if we're being frank here, this build is probably like 90% like just straight software engineering and good practices with traditional software engineering. And then maybe like that additional 10% would be like AI automation, really, like because the AI part. But all of this is automated now. So like for instance, we have the admin dashboard and the client portal. We have like a Google Auth, and then it goes into like the actual like front end. Then we have the API layer. This is going into the AWS. And these are all the endpoints that the system is working with. Like for instance, HubSpot, QuickBooks, Programma, Asana, Google Drive, Google Calendar. So this is all happening underneath that layer that you just saw. And then of course we have like the hosting AWS features, because a system like this can't just be built on something like GoDaddy. It needs something a lot more robust. So this is why we have tried to build it in a way where it can work today, it can work tomorrow, and it can scale with you. One of the bottlenecks was like we can only really handle 12 clients in the year, but using a system like this and how much it's already going to do the heavy lifting for you, you can communicate with 20, 50, 100 clients at one time, and you don't even feel it on your end. And if you could see here, like out of this entire architecture, and you will have access to all of these documents, by the way, if you scan, go to the school.com, or if you just go into the Google Documents, you can see all of this. But only this piece right here is AI. So it just gives you an idea of like how robust these systems can be, and most of the time it is like 80% just heavy lifting, like knowing how to architect in a system with traditional practices and software. Okay, let me paint a picture for you. So every week, our client manually pulled information from 4 different places. So that's project status from Asana, invoices from QuickBooks, meetings from Google Calendar, and orders from Programma. Then they wrote individual updates for every single client. So we're talking like hours of copy and paste work that had to be perfect, because these are CEOs expecting white glove service. So what did we do? We created the portal to automatically aggregate all the week's progress, format it beautifully, and create draft updates for every single client. So what does that actually look like? While the system pulls from all the integrated platforms automatically, AI helps format the updates into their brand voice. Our client gets a single review dashboard, and then one click sends personalized updates to all of their clients. Let's move on to what happens when someone pays you $100,000, okay? So this is exactly what our client told us. When someone gives you $100,000 for furniture, they want to know where every penny is at every single moment. He also said, clients are paying me for white glove service, and I only take 12 projects a year. So if I'm not able to answer their emails, that's a problem. But those emails were constant. They were asking things like, where's my order? What's my remaining budget? When will they actually arrive? How did we solve this for this client? Here's our answer. Real-time budget ordering tracking, where clients log in and immediately see their furniture budget status, how much is allocated, spent, committed, and available, and every order is tracked with expected delivery dates. Let's just dive deeper into that for a second. So how did we make that happen? Well, first we did QuickBooks integration for real-time financial data, Programma integration for order tracking, visual progress bars that change color at 75%, 85%, and 90% of budget, automatic alerts when they were approaching that limit, and the results were phenomenal. Clients feel in control, and they didn't ask questions every other day. Our client was worried about audits, and rightfully so. They said, I really have to keep tight documentation to protect myself from lawsuits that says you approved this even though it was 2 years ago and you forgot. In this example, one disputed approval of like a $100,000 project could destroy everything because they forgot that they signed an approval document that said that they wanted, just say this furniture. So what did we build? We built what we call the document vault with timestamp signatures. So every approval, every sign off, every decision was timestamped, digitally signed, and permanently stored right there in the dashboard so they can see it at any point. So how did we make this happen? Well, the client we're working with, they had Adobe Acrobat. So we went and did an Adobe Sign integration, automatically filing system by project phase, complete audit trail for every document, searchable archive going back years, where clients can access their approvals any single time that they wanted to. And why was this important? Well, no more "I never approved that" disputes. That's why that was important. This is a luxury interior design brand. How do we help with premium positioning? Well, let's look at the old way for a second. New clients were getting, like, just say 5 to 7 separate emails with huge contract PDFs, massive invoices, and welcome packets. And our clients said it was a rough experience for their clients. They're executives and they're used to seamless technology, and the onboarding felt very outdated. So what did we change? Well, in making the dashboard, essentially we had a one-click entry for a personalized portal. So the clients only get one email, which is "Welcome, click here to access everything." So essentially what we did here is we have Google off, so they click once and they're already in, and everything is already pre-organized. So on the dashboard, we have contracts, invoices, project timeline, their Gantt chart showing their full project journey, photo galleries for inspiration sharing and uploads, and all the documentation is in one place. So the premium experience starts immediately. So here's where it gets interesting for anyone wanting to scale past, like, just say $5 million, but you don't want to hire any more people. So our client was capped at, just say, 12 projects per year. I think that's what the estimate was. Working 60 hours per week, they have three kids at home, and their VA just quit for a local job. So they were successful, but they were exhausted. They were spending too much time on these manual processes. The portal doesn't just save time, it fundamentally changes capacity. When client communication is like 75% automated, when documents self-organize, when updates generate themselves, you don't really need more people. So this is how we see it. As soon as we implemented this project, each project's overhead dropped dramatically. No VA replacement was needed, and the same 2 people can handle 3 times the amount of projects for the year. Not to mention that you're also getting better service at scale. And essentially, referrals will increase because clients love the experience. So even though it doesn't look like these kind of improvements would help you scale to $10 million or $7.5 million as this company was trying to do, but the experience will help you get there because you're not spending all your time with your clients, and you're also not needing to hire any more employees. So everything I just showed you, the integrations, the automations, the portal structure, we've actually documented exactly how we would build it, the technical architecture, the integration patterns, even the automation workflows. And if you're running a luxury service business and you're ready to scale past where you are right now, you can actually get everything that we just talked about today. All you have to do is go to school.com/AIOps. You'll get the complete documentation for this system, and you can hand it over to your developer, work with an agency, or maybe you could just do it yourself, but you can use that system in order to build something like that for your own company.